Hey, what is up, fellow raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and in today's free-to-play friendly Raid Shadow Legends video, we will go through 9 epic champions who I think are really underrated, who don't really get a lot of attention, but are still really good and useful in a lot of different areas in the game. Now, of course, we all want those end-game epic champions such as a Seer, Man-Eater, Urogrim, or Salah the Mourner. Yes, those are all good, but of course, unfortunately, some players, free-to-play players, low spenders, probably still don't have those champions, haven't pulled them from shards yet. But the good news is that there's still a lot of great epic champions in this game that are probably still in your vault. You haven't built them up, so if you see them in this list, then it's time to get them out, level them up to 60, use them in some of these areas in the game. All right, and of course, if you haven't done so already, if you enjoy free-to-play friendly raid content, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And of course, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section down below because I try to reply to every single comment. All right, let's get to it. First on my list of 9 underrated epic champions is from the Sacred Order. We have Lodric Falconheart. This guy has a very unique skill right here. 2-turn cooldown when booked. Shield on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. Very useful for the Scarab boss in the Doom Tower. And he's an epic champion, Spirit Affinity, so not that difficult to get. And 2-turn cooldown and a 2-turn shield. You would want to have shield on your team as much as possible during the Scarab boss, or else he will of course do that nasty AoE attack. So this guy, as long as you build him fast enough, faster than all of your other champions, then he will always place shields. And of course, he does also have this Doom Tower aura right here, ally HP by 25%. He also has a nice A1 with decreased attack, and he has this remove all debuff from one ally, then places an ally protection on that ally for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. But really, the main highlight of his kit is this 2-turn cooldown, 2-turn shield, which is great for the Scarab boss, but also for early to mid-game clan boss. If you need a consistent shield champion, this guy will do the job for you. Plus, he has an A1 decrease attack. All right, so that's number 1 on my list. Number 2 is from Lizardmen. We have Jareg here, HP based champion. Now, of course, this is one of the older champions in Raid and really got a lot of attention during the early days of Raid, especially when we were still not running those unkillable clan boss teams, or probably not a lot of players have a double Man-Eater setup yet. So this guy was of course in one of those early clan boss teams, especially with his A1 decrease attack. He also has this ally protection and increased defense on his A2. And this passive right here places a continuous heal on an ally for 1 turn whenever an ally loses 20% of their max HP in 1 hit. And this does not have a cooldown, so this will proc every single time you lose 20% of your max HP, will heal 15% of that back, and has a very good aura, ally HP in all battles by a huge 33%. He also has a really good HP for an epic champion, decent speed as well, and decent defense. So yeah, really good for clan boss, for those boss fights, especially, you know, with his A1 decrease attack again, and of course this passive here that will heal everyone every time they lose 20% of their HP. All right, next one is in the orcs. We have Zargala, and of course also a champion that did receive a lot of attention and love back then in the early days of Raid, but with the addition of someone like where is that? Here you go. Duck the Pierced, who is also in the same faction because he does have this AoE decrease attack and decrease defense. So Zargala right here was sort of pushed back because she only does an AoE decrease defense on a 4-turn cooldown, which is of course a little bit longer than Duck the Pierced. But if you do want your runs to be faster, Zargala is the champion to go to and not Duck the Pierce, because she does hit a lot harder than Duck, because she is of course an attack type champion. Duck is a defense based champion, so even though you do build him with a lot of defense, his damage scales off of defense, but still Zargala here deals a lot more damage. This skill right here hits all enemies 3 times, so also a great multi-hitter for to deal with someone like a Rotas in the arena. And this Devastate A2, whenever you kill someone with this skill, and this is of course on a 2-turn cooldown, you will activate this A3 again. So you will hit all enemies 3 times and then place this decreased defense. So yeah, great A2, great A3, hits really hard. She is very squishy, low HP and low defense, but if you just really want to deal as much damage as possible, Zargala is still one of the best in the game. And next one is in the same faction, we have Vras here. Vras, of course, is a great healer, HP base, so you just need to build him with a lot of HP, a lot of speed, and a lot of crit rate, because his passive heals all allies by 10% of his max HP when he inflicts a critical hit. So you can build him in a relentless set so that he keeps on going multiple turns. If he goes 2 or 3 times in a row with that relentless set, then he will heal all allies by 20% or 30% of his max HP in a single turn. And of course, you just want him to keep on doing his A1. It also fills this champion's turn meter by 20% if this attack is critical. So of course, you just want him with 100% crit. You would want to deactivate his A2 because it's just a simple attack. And while this hits a little bit harder than his A1, you're not really building him for damage. You're not relying him for, dealing a lot of damage to the enemy, but you just really want him to keep your team alive, for him to heal. And his A1 with this 20% turn meter fill is more important than just a little more added damage from his A2. So yeah, Vras, one of the best epic champions in terms of healing in the game. Right, next one, let's go to Demon Spawn. We have, where is she? There you go. Nazana right here has an AoE A1, so perfect candidate for a stun set for those AoE stuns. She also has an AoE on her A3, which places decreased attack, can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown, and she has this ally protection on all allies and a shield on herself that is equal to 40%. That is huge, of her max HP. So to build Nazana, you just really give her a lot of HP. You don't really need to worry about attack on her, even though her damage does scale off of attack. You're not really looking for her to deal a lot of damage. Just put her in a stun set. Her A1 and A2 will keep your enemy stunned with the decreased attack, and of course will keep your teammates alive with this A2 right here. Just build her with a lot of HP. She's great in Faction Wars and a very good aura for Faction Wars as well, especially for those waves. All right, so that's Nazana. Next one, let's go to the Knights Revenant. We have Sepulcher. Yeah, similar to some of the champions I have mentioned earlier, they did receive a lot of attention early in the game when the game was first launched. This champion right here is really good for clan boss if you still do not have an unkillable team. She does have a decreased attack A1. She has this increased defense and block debuffs on her A2. So if you want to speed tune her in the clan boss, this can be booked to a 4-turn cooldown. So you would want to make a 4-3 ratio. In the Ultra Nightmare clan boss, I believe if you want her to go 4 times, every time the clan boss goes 3 times, to of course make sure that you land this block debuffs to avoid the stun, then I think if I remember correctly, you would want to build her somewhere around 252, 253 speed. That will make sure that you will time this block debuffs whenever the clan boss will do his AoE stun. All right, and of course has this nice unique passive that has a 25% chance, can be booked up to a 50% chance of completely blocking incoming damage when an ally is attacked. occurs only once per turn, will only block damage for the targeted ally if multiple allies are attacked at the same time. So yeah, so she has a chance to completely negate 0 damage whenever one of your teammates is attacked. So of course, this is random. This can be a little bit unreliable, but still, even with just her A1 and her A2 and her aura right here is also great for the clan boss because of course there are no clan boss specific auras. You would have to rely on all battle auras, and this is a great one to have. Increases ally defense in all battles by 25%, which of course in the clan boss you would want to stay alive as long as possible. With her decreased attack, with her aura, with her increased defense and block debuffs, she is definitely a great champion for the clan boss. All right, and in the same faction, we also have Burgoth the Malformed. Now, a lot of players hate this champion. Now, he does have an AoE provoke here. It's not 100%. It's only at 60% and it's on a 4-turn cooldown. I think some players want this on a 3-turn. Now, why is he underrated in my opinion, even though a lot of players hate him? This is because in the factions in the Knights Revenant faction, you don't really have a lot of CC, a lot of crowd control in the epic champions or even from the legendary. So when you get to Faction War stage 21, you will have to face a wave of 3 Valkyries. And it's very annoying if you don't have some sort of some way to stun, to provoke, to prevent those Valkyries from using their AoE attack with a counter attack that places it on the entire team. Unless, of course, you will build a Synacia in a stun set, build a Skull Crown in a stun set. That is good. But if you don't have those, then your other option is to build a Burgoth the Malformed, rely on his A2, landing these provokes. He does have a nice A1 as well that places a continuous heal on himself if this attack is critical, which of course helps keep himself alive. He is an HP based champion. And his passive, whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies except this champion by 20% of the damage received. This is quite a cool passive that gets that doesn't really get a lot of attention, but he will keep your entire team alive with this heals, and he will of course provoke those enemy waves. So yeah, I think Burgoth right here, not the best crowd controlled epic in the game, but for the faction, because they don't really have a lot of different options, then he becomes really useful in finishing that very difficult stage 21 in Faction Wars. Of course, we have, if you're lucky enough to have Miscreated Monster, of course, he does have this AoE stun, 50% on a 3-turn cooldown, but in case you don't have him, Burgoth can do the job for you. All right, let's go to the dwarves, and we have Rockbreaker here. Now, of course, this guy also has an AoE provoke, 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown, so he's a lot better than Burgoth, but of course, they're from different factions. This guy in Faction Wars is really, really good. Also in the Doom Tower, where, you know, a lot of people just use 5 legendary champions, but Rockbreaker is one of those epic champions that can consistently land a provoke because it's on a 3-turn cooldown. I know it's just a 1-turn provoke, but assuming you make him fast enough and then you put some speed boosters in your team, such as a Haikatun, Arbiter, there is a chance that you can apply provoke every single time so that your enemy does not get a single turn without provoke, because it is a 100% chance to land this. And that's really what he's all about. His A1 increases his defense by 4% each time the skill is used, up to a maximum of 20%, and has a chance of decreasing the damage inflicted on this champion by 50% each time this champion is attacked. So he's really just a tank. He will provoke everyone, and for sure he will keep your entire team alive. So I really love using Rockbreaker, one of the best crowd control epics in the game. Last one is from the same faction, Gala, long braids, and attack type champion, and this is the Rhoda's killer in the arena because of her A3 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit ignores 25% of the target's defense, and then grants an extra turn if this champion has full HP after using this skill. So I like to use her in a shield set to make sure that she maintains her her full HP, assuming she does not go first. So she might take a hit. So putting her in a shield set, or in one of those divine sets, so that she has that shield at the start of the turn. This, of course, whenever she gets the first turn in arena, she would hit the enemy Rhoda 3 times and then gives her an extra turn. You can either go into her A2, which is a single hitter but hits really hard, ignores 50% of the target's defense when attacking under a shield buff. This is why I put her in a divine set for this shield buff, and will heal this champion by 50% of the damage inflicted, which of course keeps her HP full, and then places a shield buff on this champion equal to any surplus heal for 3 turns. Or if there are 2 Rhodas on the enemy team, you can go from her A3 and kill that champion, and then you'll get an extra turn. Immediately go into her A1, which is a double hitter. Each hit ignores 30% of the target's defense, and then places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. So this champion, with just her A3 and then A1, can take down 2 enemy Rotas before they even get a chance to get a turn. So yeah, very useful in early game, mid game, arena, if you're facing against those enemy Rhodas teams. I have used her quite a lot, especially when I was building up from gold 1, gold 2, and gold 3. She really helped me a lot to progress in the arena. All right, so those are the 9 epic champions that I think are really underrated, that should get a lot more love in this game. But of course, I would love to make it a top 10 list. So if you have someone else, another epic champion that you think is not getting a lot of attention, but you really love him or her, using her in him or her in a lot of different contents in the game, then put it in the comment section down below and we can talk about that epic champion. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one.